Good morning, everybody. So I just had my Akawa session number 6. Yesterday I skipped one. Because I had a chance to facilitate a workshop of reconstructive. Reconstructive, basically a workshop where you get to, on a bodily level, see yourself in a way you've never seen before. You see the shadow in relationship to others, in interaction. It's wordless, it's like an act of meditation. So yeah, today's session was very beautiful. We did an EFT session before that. Honestly, like doing EFT, like the tapping and saying certain things, yeah, doing that, I just felt like this profound, what's the word? This profound stillness or equanimity or tranquility came over. Like, it was so nice, so beautiful. And then the session started. It's like we're doing this, we do a 5-minute break, and then we do the session. And the session itself was very soft, very beautiful. I just felt, I made like, there was a lot of movement, a lot of sounds. And then it's like it started pretty quick. There was this sense of dissolvement. So my body sometimes got up and it was dancing, flowing. But then there was this sense, it's like, when you look at your hand now and you feel your hand, there's this sense of will, having a will, like I can will it to go like this. I can will to do this. I can will. It's like I'm inhabiting the body and I will it to do whatever. That sense was like dissolving. There was like, everything just became like so effortless and so like just there. And it's just like pure observing of what's happening. So all of a sudden my mind I started to have this visual of like a body. And like there was like my body was practicing facilitation. So it's like doing these movements on the belly, on the head, and like just movement. And it's like, it's just facilitating on I don't know what. But then also, like, sometimes my hands started to draw like patterns and waves and movements in the space in front of me, but then I would feel that something in me was also like becoming active, or like very interesting. It's like the feeling inside was like reacting to what was happening outside. Very strange to explain. Very beautiful. At a certain point, like there was this sense of like this inner core or this inner field, and it was like in a geometric pattern. Like it was a bit vague, but it was like expanding like to the field around me. Like, and my mind was immediately like, oh, is that my Merkaba field opening? That was funny. Then there was like some alignment happening, like there was the perception of energy, like and like that thing when there's no heaviness in the body and there's just a flow and observing. Very interesting. At certain points, like my body was going through something and then it stood up, and all of a sudden it like just started to make these movements, and it's like these cyclical waves. And it's like when you ride the wave at certain turnover or a certain what do you call it? Bend, at a certain bend, or at a certain depth of the wave, of the movement, there's like this feeling that's all of a sudden like like that kind of feeling. And it's just like, it's like there's an energetic deep massage that's like going like deeper, like just because you're following the movements, or the movements are being followed and followed through. Very pleasant, like very deep, like inner, like, yeah, like I can just make that sound. All of a sudden I just started to feel this immense love, like for the people that were participating in the Zoom session. I was like, oh, I love them so much, I love them so much. And then I don't know why, but I went on my knees and I bowed down, and I wanted to like cry, and I was like that kind of thing happening, and like the words came out, I'm a servant of God, I'm a servant of God. And like my body stood up, and there was like, it's like a bit of like wanting to cry, but like what's happening, and again like I'm a servant of God, and it was, yeah, very interesting. Then like a lot of things happened, you know. The more that I do this, the more sessions that I participate in, the more that there's this sense of like flow, 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 flow. And there are sometimes thoughts and impressions and ideas. Like for instance, when there was the dissolving of feeling the dissolvement, like you feel here inside this tension point, like where you'll have the feeling of, oh, I'm disappearing, oh, I'm not here anymore. Very, very interesting to go to that place, and then just like sense the arm, sense the hand, but it's just animated, it's just alive. Yeah. I also sang a lot of Elohim, Elohim, Elohim. And then while lying down, all of a sudden, my body went into a very like certain position, and all of a sudden my third eye was like, there was like a black hole that opened, and it would suck me in. And I was like, all of a sudden, like started to see like appearing somewhere, and like meeting this being. And like I saw certain images and certain visuals, and then like there's like, it's like I was following a conversation. And this is the funny thing, it's like, did it really happen, or did it already happen and am I remembering it? Or maybe, and this is like what I'm thinking now after talking about it, is it because there is the eternal now? Is it simultaneously happening while this is happening? And it's just seeing that, or becoming aware of that. Yeah, so that's like, that's very interesting. Like that last part, I don't know. That's just a thought. But very interesting. Very interesting to follow that conversation. There were so many thoughts, because the light being was saying, so I saw like a being looked a certain way, and then a light being, and the light being was saying, go back to earth, be on earth, and commit your life to spreading love. Like that came. And then, yeah, like that kind of thing. And yeah, like when you're aware of that, like, okay. So then, you know, afterwards during the sharing, my mind is like just going about like, do I have to redeem myself? Why do I have this task? Why is it there? Is it, yeah, like what does it mean? And what happened before? What happened that led up to this? Like all these questions arise. But yeah, very interesting. And there was like also like this, I guess, this associative thoughts of like, oh, commit your life to spreading love. By what? Doing good deeds. What? I also started to see visuals about certain people that I know. Certain people that I know, I started to see visuals about yesterday's facilitation, about yesterday's session, different visuals, different, yeah. And then, honestly, there was this sense of like it's like my consciousness is just there. And like, it's like, when is it gonna come back? When I'm gonna go back in the body? So all of a sudden, it's like, it was this seeing, this visual of like going back through the dark hole and like appearing here in the room, or like almost like at the end, it's like you're just empty, and all of a sudden this wave comes in and you're like, okay, I'm back in the body. So surreal, like, whoa. Like you were empty and all of a sudden you're full. Yeah. I saw. Yeah, at a certain point while laying down, there were like these light language things coming through, thinking, like sayings, and while that is unfolding, while that is happening, I have no idea what's being said. I have no idea whether this is just gibberish, whether it is, whether like this is just happening. And then there was this sense, this realization, this recognition, like, oh, it's like I'm a being, and I'm either living in expansion or in contraction. So I'm constantly wanting certain experiences, wanting this, wanting that, wanting this, wanting that, but I'm living in contraction. But then it's like, oh yeah, are you living in contraction, or are you constantly living in expansion? And are you like, so yeah, very interesting, very beautiful. At a certain point, that was like so surreal. It's like you become aware of time, like, okay, here and now, time, in time, and all of a sudden it's like you're being marinated, saturated into the timelessness of nowness. And it's like how can I say this, becoming aware of the eternal, or becoming, or sensing the sense of infinity. It was like constantly like disappearing into a dark hole, like, but because the movement is just eternal, there's no end to it. It's just that wave, or that like, it's an eternal, there's no beginning and end, there's no yeah, honestly, I don't know how to explain this. Forget that I said that. Yeah, very surreal sense, just like time, and then yeah, like you hear my words are, the words that I use, like my vocabulary is limited. And I think honestly, like expanding my vocabulary would maybe be nice. Maybe. I also saw myself in the bufo room again, like, and I saw a number. So it's like, oh, does this mean that I need to do more bufo sessions? So we will see. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all a beautiful day.